friends. I'm Angie.
I'm Michelle.
We're Blue Heavens. We channel ancient and divine energies that teach us to be better people, leading to better lives.
And today we're going to talk about boundaries.
Yes, healthy boundaries.
Healthy boundaries.
What are they? How do we get them?
Yes, and that's what today's subject is.
Yep. Okay, so the first step to healthy boundaries I have is that we are to get clear on who we are and what we want.
Yes, and Marcus had mentioned that in the previous, this is Loki.
Yeah.
And you have to be very clear what your boundaries within you are, and you have to communicate these to others around you from the very beginning when you even start a friendship or talking. So because everybody comes here into your realm with different boundaries and different experiences that they have gone through, and they don't know that. They're not a mind reader. So they don't understand. So we communicate from day one. What are your needs? What do you expect out of this friendship? What do they expect? And is it going to be mutual, and should you move on? And if it is not, then that's when you just separate. No feelings have been hurt by doing this.
Well, wait, that'd be very easy if that's what we actually did.
And well, you humans will not do that.
Yeah. Wow.
We get the most complicated.
Right. So since we don't do that, well, we need to learn to say no. I think some of us, we have a hard time saying no. We want to do something for somebody else because they asked us, but we don't really want to do it. But we need to learn that our time matters and that we're not doing someone any favors by offering to help them if we're going to resent them for helping them.
Okay, so what you're doing is you're making them codependent on you.
Yes.
That's what all you're doing, is you're just making them dependent on you.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the more they're going to be walking all over you. They call you a mat, and you just walking on you.
Yeah.
And you just from the beginning, stated from the beginning, this is not what I do.
Right.
So, and I understand that humans find this very difficult. They feel your hurt and your feelings. But I don't understand why you wouldn't do that, because in the end, if you don't state your boundaries, they don't state their boundaries, rapes occur. I'm not saying this is all on anybody's fault. Do not take what I'm saying here. She has been raped, okay? I understand. So, and this was but she had whispers, and she had her little signs saying that this was not a good thing here. So, but you gotta listen to your inner voice. You gotta listen, and you set boundaries. She never set boundaries. She didn't set boundaries, so she didn't want to hurt his feelings. Well, it didn't matter what she felt afterwards. I know this is a very example, but there's a lot of people that are watching this that they're not stating boundaries, and you're going to get yourself hurt.
Yes.
And this is not even a funny subject. You will get yourself hurt if you don't set boundaries. So I honestly don't care if you're sitting across from somebody, you're on a first date, and you're sitting there, state your boundaries from the very beginning. If you hurt their feelings, then what kind of person are you talking to anyway? And you don't need to be talking to this person.
Right.
So what Angela's human version is, let's just bounce around it and we'll hope for the best. And could you please? No, you can't do that.
Right, we can't do
you
that.
Can't do that. So I mean, this is harsh truth.
Yeah. So Mark Manson said people often lack boundaries because they have a high level of neediness or codependence.
Right.
And codependent people have a desperate need for love and affection from others that they sacrifice their identity and remove their boundaries to receive this love.
Well, now it goes back, Marcus, I stated that, it starts from the very beginning of your childhood, and you start, you're a baby, you cry, you know somebody's going to respond to you.
Right.
And it just starts the neediness right in there. I mean, it just starts from the beginning. And then you humans, as you get older, well, if I do this for these group of people, then I will get this as a reward. And you grow up like that. And in the relationships will be one person always gives, the other person always receives. And that's not the relationship, which causes neediness.
Yeah.
So, as I said from the beginning, you have to state these things. I mean, it's not up to somebody else for you to be their mother, their father. If you're in a relationship with somebody, they're wanting a spouse. So it all starts with you working on yourself first off. You can't go into a relationship if you're all broken, messed up, and you're in little bitty pieces. You cannot work on those bases. If you do, your relationships will reflect everything that you come into. So you cannot do that. You have to work on yourself. I don't care if you feel Mr. or Mrs. Right walks right in front of you and oh, this is perfect. And I think why humans will not set boundaries, I will even kind of backtrack. Why I don't think you set boundaries is you guys in your mind have set the perfect person or the perfect situation. I'm trying to impress. A lot of people try to impress their friends. I got to impress this person. So you'll set your boundaries really low to impress this person. And they're not worth that. They're not definitely. I have done this so many times. Look at the scars on me that I can tell you. And I can tell you now, I don't care. I will state what I don't have to state. Everybody's just scared of me in general. So I don't state nothing. But I feel I'm better for the subject because Marcus loves, and this is something he's not.
Right.
He's good at what he does, I'm good at what I do.
Right.
Boundaries, if you from the very beginning, you just need to state. You're going to get a little whisper, something don't feel right. Something don't feel right. Y'all humans, you get that? Use it. It is there.
Pay attention to it.
Pay attention to that.
I always ignored it and dismissed it, and
what
I
did it do to you?
for it. Always, it was always terrible.
Yes.
It was always terrible.
Yes, and the consequences are never good because and there's somebody forced you in a situation you felt was not good.
Yes.
It all starts with boundaries. But the boundaries start within you first. You got to set yourself boundaries. What would you expect? It would be a good idea. Get the pad and paper. What are your boundaries? Look at your own boundaries.
Yeah.
How good are they? Are they set good? And then look at other people around you. And maybe you're being a pushover because look at all of these things that you are allowing. You're not putting these boundaries in place. So you have to set them. And it's better to set them sooner than later. Because once you've had somebody walk all over you, you've been the doormat, it's harder to tell them and set your boundaries versus if you just from the very beginning.
Normally they won't let you.
They don't let you.
It's like you have to leave the relationship.
But it's a choice, and you can make the choice to stay and put up with it or leave. But it all starts with communication. And you're here for a journey. This is your journey. This is your evolution. You have to learn from somewhere.
So let's say I started seeing a boy, and I'm like, I only want to hold hands. And I see that he's wanting way more than that. What's an easy way to get out of some of these situations that can lead to rape, that can lead to severe things?
Okay, well, first off, if let's say are talking about going out on dates?
Sure,
are we talking about dates? Okay. And we could also talk about friendships and meeting friends because I have this discussion with Laura all the time, and your girls as well. I've had this discussion with. So immediately you'll feel like I would always go with a group of people. Let's just say you're going with you don't know this person. I go with a group of people, or go into a restaurant with people around. Get there on your own way. Find a ride. Don't let them pick you up. Find your own ride to wherever they want to meet. If they want to meet somewhere secluded, that's a warning sign. That's a red flag. Don't do that. If online dating, I don't like because the person on the other end could be just totally not who they say they are. So that is a red flag. I would say if you please avoid that. I don't like that because Laura's on that, and she's got some shady characters, and the feeling that I get is never good. So myself, if you've had good experiences, I applaud you, but for the most part, but I would suggest you'll get a whisper of something's not right. Now it goes back to here and setting your own boundaries and looking at your self-love. Do you love yourself? And everything else. If you don't love yourself, so your boundaries will be here and you don't care. And you won't bring people with you in that. But see, if you love yourself and respect yourself, you know you're worthy, then people can't walk on you.
Right. They'll see you reflecting that. They're not going to mess with you. And they're not going to try to break boundaries because they see.
Oh, no, they might try to break you, though. They might try to break you for kicks.
There's still manipulative people that will just,
Oh, that's just a joy for some people.
Yeah,
so you got to remember that.
Right.
That's a kick. Well, I'm one of these people. No, I'm one of those people. It's a kick for me. I love it. It's great for me.
Like the shame wizard on Big Mouth.
No, that would be me. The more somebody wants to bring me grief, I will give back to them twice as much. So I'm probably not the best example here. But I'm just saying, think because you got all this confidence, somebody else ain't going to try to just tear you down just for kicks.
Very true.
That would be me, as I said again. So you have to keep that in mind. So don't try to be the hero. Don't let your ego... Even if you feel this person, don't be so egoistic, well, I can see through that, and I'm just going to mess with them. Leave. Walk away. This is stupid. Just don't waste your time. So you'll get a whisper, you'll get a hunch, so I'll sum it up. If you love yourself, set your boundaries, and you look at what what you will accept.
Right.
Don't start with you. What you will accept, as you won't accept. Watch and observe this person. Bring somebody with you. Be in a crowded place. Have your phone by you and have a code. Make sure if you really are going out for the first time doing this, bring a friend with you, a trusted advisor, parent. I don't care who you bring.
Yeah.
Somebody. It doesn't matter. As I said, if they don't like it, there's something wrong with them to begin with. And what are their intentions? That's a red flag.
Yeah.
So, but you have to observe, you have to pay attention. And don't put all your hopes and dreams in this one person, because there's so many eggs in the basket. You can't just do that.
Right.
So you can't, so if you're not setting your boundaries and you don't love yourself enough, why are you trying to impress this person? Because in the long run, you may not be with this person.
Yeah.
It's not worth impressing. You should be authentic from day one.
And we need to love ourselves enough to
Be
walk
authentic.
away. Right.
You have to love yourself, be authentic.
Yes.
And to walk away and not look back, let it go, surrender,
Yeah.
whatever you humans do, let it go.
Right.
And just know that that's their lesson and your lesson, and they'll find somebody else, no matter whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's not up to you. And I don't care if you built this person in your mind, that this is the person I have to date. I got to be with this person. You built it in here. In reality, they're probably not like this.
Right.
So don't put all of this onto that, because that's not true.
It could be that desperation again.
That's
that
a
codependence.
desperation.
I need something, like the fish love in the other videos.
Yes. And
It's
Laura
not really love.
Laura does this a lot. She dreams in here, and then she expects this guy here to be that,
Yes.
and they're not this,
Not.
and they take
Right.
advantage of that,
Yes.
because you've got it built up in here, and that's
Yeah.
very dangerous to bring. So, it all starts with healthy boundaries, loving you, and when you do that, and have the confidence to, if it's not anything, don't just politely leave. Don't have to hurt. It don't matter if you feel like I'm going to hurt their feelings. You hurt their feelings if you stay.
So another step in healthy boundaries, make your well-being a priority.
You always should make your well-being a priority.
So we need to love ourselves. It needs to start with us.
Yes.
And we need to have healthy boundaries, and that starts with us at the beginning of our relationships. I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to do this. I will do this. I won't do that. Be honest and open. And then if we get resistance, work with it or walk away.
And that is very summed
And
up.
to trust our vibes.
To trust your vibes, and if you feel like, oh, I just made a mistake. No, that is your ego telling you these things. You got to learn sometimes your mind is not going to give you the...
Right.
You always go by your first instinct. If your first instinct tells you something, that's the right instinct. That's the one you go with. And that I would have saved fingers and body parts had I just heard my whispers, but I wanted to be the big man on campus, so these things happen. So let's not do that.
Right.
And I didn't find myself a high priority. I had power. I didn't need. And a lot of people come into this world,
Yeah.
like, I will not say names,
Okay.
but they feel they had power
Yeah.
over you. Power. And this comes power. I got power, and I am better than you. We get a lot of that.
Yeah.
No, they do not. Nobody ever has power over you. That is pure ego, and walk away from that, because that is not healthy.
No.
Somebody will get hurt.
Yes.
And she's still going through a whole, this was last year, and she's still going through this whole healing process. So understand, when you feel like you're doing a power pull or whatever you want, you're hurting somebody pretty
Yes.
bad by doing that. So that's not love either. And if you say that you're doing that because you love them, which was what I always heard, I'm doing because I love you.
Yeah.
That's not love.
It's not love.
And I had to discover these things on my own.
Yeah.
It was not my
Hate hurts, love heals.
Exactly.
So if something's hurting you, it's not love.
So understand that is true. So, but you got to set boundaries for yourself. It starts with you, and it would be very just take with myself, for example. I had to. I didn't have like notebooks at my disposal, so I had what I had at my disposal, which was, and I would do that, and I would do like 5 here and 5 here. Like, what are the 5 things that I probably should be working on, and really have to look into it and go, ooh. And what are the 5 quality, but what are my boundaries? Do. Here's my 5 main boundaries. So I'm sitting somewhere, and let's just say I'm sitting somewhere. These are my boundaries. I like to keep my fingers. I like to keep my face from getting scarred, and I like to be able not to get into a fight every time I go somewhere.
Yeah.
But that's easy to do. you know, you set your boundaries, you know. And then let's just say you got somebody that comes here, memorize your boundaries, memorize your good qualities about yourself. So you got this person sitting in front of you already starting in. Well, if you already know your good qualities, well, start with that. Well, I am love. I am compassion. You start with all the good qualities about yourself. And then let's say they're talking about they want to go after this date, let's go have sex. Well, one of your boundaries is I don't have sex for like several months here. And that's one of your boundaries. Well, they just broke boundary 1. Are you going to go to boundary 2, see what they're going to break boundary 2? Because more than likely they're going to go break 2.
Yes.
So it's that's what I would do. I would do what my good qualities here and my boundaries here. So if I'm in the situation, like I would be in, you know, I'd sit there quickly. Okay, no, I'm not going to do this because it's not. In the end, it wasn't worth it to get into these situations that was just stupid. And you'll find a lot of this is just your ego and stupid.
Yes.
And that. So, but it all started when I started wanting my mother. She told me I was much more than what I thought I was. She told me I was much more than I was. I mean, of course, you're going to have it. I'm talking about, but one of my aspects. And told me I was much more than what I thought I was. And it took a wake up to figure this out. And she's the one who told me all of this. And, you know, because I'm like, well, how do I access it? Well, what? And she would, and these stuff had been in here. And that's how I do. So if you don't want to do that, just do it in here. Yeah. And then when you're sitting, you know your qualities already. Or tattoo them or whatever. I don't care what you do. Right. Just have them on you and you know your self-worth. And then you have your own boundaries. And if they break boundary 1, more than likely, and don't give them to boundary 6, boundary 7.
Right. You have to have consequences or it will continue.
Right. But you got confidence.
Yes.
Don't worry about what your friends say. Well, you're weak because you left. Say whatever.
Right.
At least you're safe.
They don't know. Absolutely. They
You're
never
safe.
see what's behind the doors.
Exactly. So that is my advice. That's summed up. I say that's just how you set boundaries. Yeah. And if anybody has any other questions on boundaries or what does that mean, comment, and we will answer these for you. Absolutely. Because this is a broad subject.
Yeah.
And there's so many different ways that you could do that. Yeah. That's the fastest for me. Yeah. Is write them down if you like to write, or put it in here. Your good qualities here, boundaries here, and that's what I do. Yeah. You know, in my cave, and that's what I would be my advice to do. But it all works in here. Yeah. Start with here and that, and love is not hate. Love is not hate. So that's not even love. Don't go. I don't know what love really is, only because I'm not participating in that right now. But I know what it was before I went into the cave. Right. Before I went into the cave, and that. So I do know from that part, and that is what I want to share with others, and that is what I would suggest to keep yourself safe. Yes. Keep yourself safe first and foremost.
Because while we're looking to spread love and stuff, we still have to be mindful that not everybody's there. Right. And we still coexist with people that feel differently.
And that's okay. They're allowed to exist.
We need healthy boundaries.
And as long as you got healthy boundaries, and there's a lesson for you, lesson for them, and lesson for everybody else. And always trust your instinct, and don't go to your trusted friend, because more than likely their boundaries are not where yours is at. So remember that as well. So but like I said, this is a broad set. We'll go back on this subject but this is just a introduction to this, and we will come back to this. Absolutely. Any questions, please leave below, and it will be answered.
Absolutely. Remember that you were unconditionally loved by the Creator of the universe.
And that's what Mark is. And you are so loved, just unconditionally, just joyful, happy. It's all kinds
of. And unconditionally means no matter what we've done, right?
Right, no judgment.
Oh, no judgment. What a beautiful thing.
It is a very beautiful thing.
It really is.
When you really feel it deep down.
When you listen to I'm loved without judgment.
And when I look at her and I say, I love you, try that for here. Can I do that?
Sure.
Let them see what that looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to show this to people. I know that we got things. But this is what I do with her, because I say it, but I want people to see it. Right. And I will know you will react the same as you ought to want. Right. So you will react the same. This is what I usually do. Okay. I usually do that.
Mm-hmm. Can we do it too?
And you just been like that, and I'm just staring. Yeah, see? And you feel.
It's just like I was sucked in your orbit.
Yes.
And it's just peace.
Yes.
And like inviting.
Yes.
And calm and yet joyful. It's the things you said that love were.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can look right at me and you see it because I love you.
Ooh, yes, it's very abundant.
Yes, very abundant.
It
Yes.
is.
Very abundant. Yes.
That's beautiful. Oh,
And that is what I do for your sister.
she needs that.
She does,
It's
and I love her.
beautiful.
So that is what. So do that with your partner.
I will.
Do that with Scott.
I will.
Let me know.
I will. It's beautiful.
Yes. So you are loved unconditionally.
Yes.
Unconditionally. And bring him into your orbit
Yes.
of love.
Yes, bring people into
That
your
was
orbit
that
of
was
love.
I love that. When you said
Yeah.
orbit and abundant, that's
Yeah.
love.
It is. Yay!
Yes. So please do that. Just do that for somebody. Be that orbit, be whatever
Yes.
for somebody else. But it unconditional is that's just what it means. Unconditional. No judgments. So just know you are loved unconditionally.
Oh, that's beautiful. We love you. We'll see you in our next video.